Worlds, and it's awesome.
The game that stood out the most to me has to be OMG against SK Telecom T1.
SKT were favored to be the strongest team in the tournament.
OMG, with a new style, said no. We're gonna team fight, we're gonna dive you, and your life's going to suck.
I'm slightly disappointed in Lemondogs. All of Europe were kind of expecting, okay, Lemondogs are actually gonna beat SKT. That didn't quite work out for them.
Lemondogs, if they find that middle 10 minutes, they're golden.
I feel that TSM are the second weakest team in Group A.
Reginald needs to perform if TSM are going to do well.
OMG vs Lemondogs is kind of a battle of an unstoppable force that is OMG. They're going to dive you, and a mostly movable object in Lemondogs. That's going to be a really close matchup.
It's almost impossible to say who the best team in Group A is, but I would say OMG and SKT probably have an edge over the rest.
The road to the biggest event in esports begins right here.
Gentlemen, to the League of Legends Season 3 World Championship! I'm Ahri Supporter, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, in front of this incredible studio audience. Today, the 5 teams from Group A continued their fight for the Season 3 title and the Summoners Cup. Our first battle of Day 3 features Nukeduck and Europe's Lemondogs taking on the undefeated leaders of Group A, China's OMG. But before the games begin, let's take a tour of the League of Legends broadcast studio, starting with Joe and Kobe over in the broadcast booth.
Thanks a lot, Shocks. I'm Joe Miller, along with the only man on our entire team who foresaw Fnatic's victory over Gambit Gaming yesterday, Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler. Good job, Kobe.
All right, thanks, Joe. Let's just hope that Jat can keep the casters ahead, because we all know if Double Lift starts to get ahead, he's just going to call everybody trash, and nobody's going to have fun.
And today, our team of casters will be bringing you all the play-by-play of our 5 Group A matches from right here on the desk.
But for now, let's send it over to D-Man, who's hanging out up in the interview lounge.
Thank you very much, Kobe. I am Lee D-Man Smith, and today we'll be bringing you interviews with the winners of our matches, as well as special guests that are here watching our group stage games. But right now, let's head over to those guys you all know and love. It is the analysis desk, and it's going to be get the start day started for the World Championships.
Thank you very much, D-Man. What's going on, everybody? I'm Rivington Bism III, and insta-locking the analyst desk with me, D-Man's getting to me, is Joshua Jat Leesman. Plus, joining us again is our very own Trinity Force of LoL punditry, OGN casters Monte Cristo, the Evil Geniuses Crepo, and CLG's all-star carry, Doublelift himself. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure.
It's great to be here again.
It absolutely is. 3 strong days so far. We're going even harder and faster this day. If you missed any of yesterday's action, here's a visual stroll down memory lane, a compilation of all the world-class plays from Monday's 5 Group B matches.
Day 2 of the Season 3 World Championship was all about the unpredictability of Group B. In the first game of the day, Samsung Galaxy Ozone flexed their muscles against the overmatched Mineski.
Here comes the Stand United. Dandy very low on mana. He's going to be staying on the outside. Mata goes in for the ultimate. He is focused down very fast. They're looking at Yume now. Eyes onto him. He takes the Lantern home.
And that is just them flexing their muscles right now.
But Mineski would not go down without a fight.
Looper coming in with the ultimate. Tries to get Exo so the damage can't be done. Kiting very well. Blade of the Root King keeping Exo alive in the fight. And holy crap, Mineski comes up huge.
Nice one. Nice one.
In the end, Samsung were too strong, and the win improves their group record to 2-1.
Expect that hammer to be dropped, and it looks like they get up a nice pad on the KDA before they take down the Nexus turrets. Ozone coming into this one quite strong. The fight didn't put him on tilt. They knew what they needed to do.
Yeah, you can see a fairly calm and collected Ozone right there.
In their match against Gambit, Vulcan made one mistake after another.
Level 4 to 4, they're going to Diamond! Could it be first blood? He pulls himself out just on the outside! It wasn't the Q! Psycho said couldn't hit it! The kill goes out! First blood going over to Voidal, and Genja gets the second one!
Gambit punished Vulcan for those missteps, and they continued to roll through Group B.
Mithy may go down there. Oh, they throw the command shockwave! That was quite unfortunate on the Vault Breaker. He connects with it, and he kicks it back! Nice! Gambit, 3-0 here in Group B.
Gambit absolutely dominating this group so far.
In the third game of the day, Fnatic exploded Samsung Ozone's bot lane.
Cyanide as well comes into the fight, and they will be able to get this down. Mana very low. Looper is just getting crushed. A great ultimate coming in from Soaz, and they obliterate the bottom lane with 4 members.
And that's the dive from Fnatic.
Fnatic dominated the Korean Ozone, and the win would give Europe the top 2 spots in Group B.
This is the decider now. Puju going in. He gets hit up, but he's already taken down Dade. They turn the fight around to him. Soaz is 1v1 as well in the fight against Dandy, and Fnatic takes the jungle back.
And you cannot run from this Fnatic team. They chase everyone down on Ozone. 21 kills to 6, and another surrender from Ozone.
2 teams in need of a win played a very close game until 30 minutes, when Vulcan was able to pull away for the win to keep pace with the Group B leaders.
Finally, Vulcan starting to turn the screws on the Philippine team, and it's going to be Yume backing off. Exo gets caught out, Wither comes in, Vulcan closing the door. They do manage to get one. Yume's not going to be able to survive another though, and that surely will be the game for Vulcan.
And the crowd chanting USA in the background, happy to have their hometown team pick up a win right here. Hard-fought victory, but Vulcan's done it.
The last game of the day was perhaps the most important. Gambit were looking to remain undefeated, while Fnatic were trying to snap Gambit's 3-game winning streak to move into a tie for first in the group standings.
But it's the damage for Fnatic that's doing the job. They get 1, get 2, get in on towards Diamond, they get the slow on him. Soaz comes bouncing on in there, and Cyanide should finish this one out. It will be another kill. That is a 3-for-0 exchange. Fnatic looking strong.
The early deficit would force Gambit to gamble for Baron.
It's gonna be close. We can fight them. We can fight. We can fight. We can fight.
It's slow.
We can fight. Fight them. Fight them.
Yep. Cyanide goes in. He's going to get locked up. That's Gambit picking up 1 kill. So has the target. Passive not available. Solar Flare finds his target. That's going to be another kill for Pushu getting on towards him. Gambit taken so low. Having to back out the side. Diamond goes down. Genja gets away with it. But it's another kill for Pushu. That was a 3-for-1. The score says it all, ladies and gentlemen. 21 kills to 3. They looked invincible, but wow, they've just been swept aside by Fnatic.
And after those incredible games yesterday, let's check out the standings for the 5 teams in Group B. Europe has the top 2 spots locked down halfway through the group stage portion of this World Championship with identical 3-1 records.
Samsung Galaxy Ozone and Vulcan are sitting just 1 game back with 4 games left in this double round robin group stage, while Mineski is yet to pick up a win.
All right, gentlemen, so let's start to discuss. Let's talk first about Fnatic's amazing and fantastic games yesterday. 2-0, jumping into the top spot of Group B. They were just kind of on a rampage.
Yeah, and Europe in general seems to be stronger than a lot of people anticipated. I know during the European LCS season, there was a lot of questions about whether they were actually good because there was so much parity in that league. We knew their mid laners were strong. We knew they had unconventional picks, but we weren't really sure how they're going to prepare on this world stage. And so far, it seems like they may actually be a little ahead of the game.
I was really impressed with the way Fnatic bounced back. Having that early loss against Vulcan really threw them off the game, I would say, but then a day later, they come back and they just completely own it up. They played so well. Even Gambit played really well. So every European team has been doing well, and it actually makes me feel slightly less awful for not being here. So I'm rooting for the Europeans.
Yeah, and Fnatic, they did have that slow start in that questionable York pick, but when I talked to them yesterday, they knew what they had done wrong. They lamented that pick a little bit, and they immediately turned it around. And out of the two kind of expected powerhouses in that group, Ozone and Fnatic, Fnatic's been the one to turn things around, and Ozone just continues to struggle. So I think they're looking really, really good.
Yeah, and just going off that, Europe's like unique picks and unorthodox strategy really seems to throw Asia off. Especially, you see Ozone struggling against Europe so much. But I have a very patriotic hunch that NA is going to give Europe some trouble. Just patriotism.
That's cute.
All right, so Fnatic definitely wowed, got some fans yesterday, but there were a few other teams we were talking about as well, and one of them was the pre-tournament favorite, Ozone, coming into this one, which they have struggled so far.
Yeah, my eyes were on Mata because I feel like on Ozone, Dandy, Dade, and Mata are the playmakers, but really, Mata's the one who gives them the vision to make those plays happen. When I watched him play, I was really unimpressed. He didn't seem himself. Very uncharacteristic of him not to spam pink words, especially against Evelyn. I think he's just really off his game, whether it's jet lag or just nerves getting to him. I'm looking forward to see how he adjusts.
Yeah, they were definitely a shade of their former self. I was particularly still impressed, though, by Looper. I mean, you're bringing in a sub, first tournament, hasn't played much before, opens up with Proxy Singed, played really, really well. But then at the same time, if your sub that you just brought in is your best player, or one of your best players at the moment, you're not doing well. So I don't know what really happened there, because they replaced him recently with instead of Home, right?
Yeah, and coming in, we've seen just Ozone be in utter disarray this tournament. It's not just they're losing lanes, it's that they're foregoing all of these fundamentals that have been so strong in the past. And has always been the emotional center of Ozone. If you look at the interviews that have been done with that team, all of the other players constantly say, oh, we really rely on to be our kind of emotional core. And he's 29. He's about a decade older than Imp. And in Korean culture, too, with age comes a lot of respect as well. So with him being taken out of the picture, even though Looper may be playing better in lane, they're missing something fundamental to that team that is causing them to play a certain way. And maybe we might see him in the next few games.
Yeah, I was actually during the cast yesterday wondering if they're going to bring Ohm back, because once they seem to fall behind a little bit in these games, they just kind of lose control, and it does seem like they need a bit of guidance. But I think one more thing about this team is they were probably greatly overrated coming into this World Championship.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because they won the spring split of the summer season, but they came in third place, or sorry, spring split of the spring, won the spring OGN season, and then came in third for the summer season and barely beat out CJ Antis Frost for that third place, who also wasn't that strong of a team. So it's been a while since they've been at their peak.
I agree, and it's worth noting, too, that since they played Frost in that third place match, Frost is a team that's been having their own troubles with the mid lane, and so I feel like that may have masked some of Dade's weaknesses in that series, so we didn't really get a full read on Ozone as of late. But yeah, based on their performance, you have to say they were very overrated coming in.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, considering and regardless of the results for some of the teams as they wish, Ozone and Group B do get a couple days off to regroup and recharge, while the 5 teams in Group A now take to the Rift. So let's take a look at the standings heading into today's games. China's OMG is now the only team remaining in the group stage with a perfect record, and because of that, they're in first. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, then in the middle of the pack, it's Europe's Lemondogs, Korea's SK Telecom T1, and North America's Team Solomid. In 5th place, we have the international wildcard, Lithuania's Gaming Gear EU.
And out of the first 5 matches between the guys in Group A, I think the highlight for me and many others was OMG's dominating win over the pre-tournament favorites, SKT here.
Yeah, in terms of SK Telecom, though, I'm not particularly worried. Again, we talked about this yesterday. SK Telecom has a habit against good teams of dropping the first game. In their last 3 best-of-5s, they've either dropped 1 or 2 games and then come out and won 3 in a row. So they adapt very well, and that's what we're going to be looking at here, I think, because they can make those adjustments, and once they see a strategy once, it's incredibly difficult to fool them with it again.
Yeah, and OMG specifically for me, I'm really looking at their bottom lane because in China during Season 3, you see a lot of Graves and Varus. Those are like the super common picks. Right now, because of Trinity Force changes 3 and 11, Corki and Ezreal are really, really popular. I feel like Son, I've seen him play Graves, I've seen him play Varus. Those are hard. I'd say they're counters to Corki and Ezreal in lane. And I'm really interested to see how he's going to adapt to the fact that everyone's picking Corki. He has like the easiest time. He has so much experience playing those strong counters.
That's a really good point. That's really going to play in their favor, because if you look back at yesterday's matches, the inability to pick Corki or pick any lane counter really threw Ozone off their game. Like, they had the chance to pick Corki, they didn't do it, and then they had the chance to counter pick Corki, and they really, I think, even when Ezreal into it at one point, it just doesn't match up. Like, and this patch, Corki is really strong, and you either need to, you're gonna run into one at least, so you need to prepare for it, pick it yourself, or deal with it.
And I kind of want to pose that question to you guys. As the bottom lane, what is that, what makes it so centric about Corki right now? Knowing the matchup isn't just enough, apparently.
Well, I feel like if you've been playing AD competitively for a long time, you should be able to play pretty much every AD at a competitive level. Since all ADs are pretty similar, I'm not going to lie. It's not like mid where there's a difference between like Zed and Orianna. They're very different. In top lane, you can play everything. Bottom lane is really just like you should be able to play just about everything. And if something strong like Corki comes up, either play it or play a counter to it. It should be very simple. What's really surprising to me is that these ADs are really just either not able to play Corki or the counters, some of them, and that's just like, it blows my mind.
All right, so shifting gears a little bit, I want to talk about the players outside of the games. Many of you at this desk have played in high-pressure tournaments before, even including Jat back on Dignitas. So what's going on in the minds of these players right now from game to game when things aren't going the way they think it should?
Well, for me, whenever I get frustrated or whatever because of a loss, the biggest thing is that you don't tunnel on the wrong things. If you're tunneling on, oh, this is so big, this is such, and it's really just not like a centric problem that you have, you're really just not going to be able to adapt and change your playstyle from game to game, and that's going to hurt you as the tournament goes on.
Yeah, and kind of going off that, the thing I noticed in my small time playing and like my larger time observing is anytime a team is in that high pressure situation, they really just default back to their core tendencies that they're most used to. And if they try and make an adaptation, it has to be to something that they've already practiced and then have that plan be prepared. Because if they try to go for something they haven't prepared, even if it's worked in solo queue for them or they think they have it, once the pressure is on, it never works.
I think that's a perfect description of what we're seeing happening with Ozone right now, because they're going back onto their older champions, or they're seeing the Gambit Kog'Maw, Genja's Kog'Maw build, and then immediately trying to replicate that. It's really strange.
Exactly, because Imp's that Vayne or Caitlyn player, when we've seen him be successful, and specifically his Vayne play, is all about moving around teamfights and getting right in there. We saw him doing that on Kog'Maw. It doesn't work on Kog'Maw, and they just wasn't working for them at all.
And Crepo, in these intense situations, where does it fall for you?
Yeah, once the pressure gets really high, and especially when you drop a map, a lot of these teams will go back to their comfort champions. And once the meta keeps changing so quick, that might be a really bad tendency to break. If you're competing at the world-class level, you need to be able to have a wide variety of champions, or people will read on that, and they will just ban you out, force you into situations you can't recover from. And that's, as Mondi said, something that Ozone was really suffering from.
All right, we'll see if they can pull it back around today. It's going to be pretty intense for just about everyone on that stage. And the 5 teams of Group A aren't the only ones competing here today, as you gentlemen know. All week long, the 4 of you have been picking the winners of the games, or in the case of Crepo, not picking the winners of the games. But
good one.
Completely okay. Well, look at how you guys have been doing so far. The casters and the viewers are sitting at the top of the standings. Those 2 hive minds have guessed 73% correct.
Power in numbers.
Yes, they are continually doing a good job so far. Keep it up, Jack, because it's you. The rest of the guys aren't far behind, and it's all up to you. So as you said before, Kobe's been throwing you under the bus.
He tried to throw me under the bus yesterday because he wanted to pick the Fnatic upset, and I was like, I don't know, man, that might not be safe. I also told him to do a couple other things that would have worked out well, but he didn't mention them.
Are we sensing some rivalry between the casters here?
I mean, I just want.
It's just a game, Jack. It's just a game. Why do you have to take it so serious?
All right, so before we get to our first picks here at Worlds, it's time to talk about something that I can predict with 100% accuracy, and that's today's schedule. Up first, the Lemondogs try to mark up OMG's perfect record, and then SKT try to bounce back when they take on Gaming Gear.
After that, Team Solo Mid and Lemondogs face off in a transatlantic showdown, followed by Gaming Gear looking to take out OMG. Then, of course, SKT takes on TSM.
All right, gentlemen, Lemondogs versus OMG. Monty, I'm going to kick it off with you. Your prediction.
I'm going to take OMG for this one, even though I do think this is an extremely close call. Lemondogs has been playing well, and of course, now that they've had some time to observe OMG and their rather unique play style here in groups, I think they'll probably have some answers, but OMG, cool, he's just good.
Yeah, Cool is a pretty big monster, and I also think OMG is going to win. It's a really big toss-up, but I think, well, the word is that when Lemondogs gets behind, they lose, and OMG is the perfect team to put them far behind because of their super high aggression, early 5-manning. It's just a natural counter to Lemondogs' playstyle.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll actually have to go with Lemondogs here. I mean, I know you guys like this race and all, and I gave you a little lead, but now I'm going to catch up again. I'm rooting for European teams because I want a top 3 European team because that, by that definition, we would have been the 4th team in the world, right? That's how that works. No?
Okay.
I hope so.
There we go. Sure.
Exactly.
But honestly, I'm going to go with Lemondogs as well. We talked about how well the European teams are doing so far here at the World Championships, but specifically why is because Doublelift mentioned that Lemondogs does poorly when they fall behind. I feel like OMG is even worse when they fall behind. I've been watching a lot of the Chinese LPL, and when they are a snowball team. If they don't get extremely far ahead, they fall back. And specifically with N Raiden now as the analyst for Lemondogs, and how well Lemondogs started against SKT on day 1 of
They
groups.
have really good level 1s.
I feel like they can plan a level 1 for OMG and just play conservatively enough that their overall team play will take over OMG.
That's okay, Jet. You can be wrong.
I think when we're talking about these teams that have never played outside of the country before, I think you got to give them a little slack in the first couple of days. But I think we're going to see SK Telecom and OMG really start to get rolling today.
All right, well, the split decision here between the desk. You've heard what these guys have to say. Now it's your turn. It's time for you to make your decision. Head over to lolesports.com and vote for who you think will win today's matches. Just go to the schedule in the top right, click on day 3, and pick your team. And if the first 2 days of Worlds are any indication, odds are you're going to be right.
And then head over to Twitter and let us know. Which pro do you think is making the biggest impact on Group A and why? Hit us up at LOL Esports and be sure to use the hashtag Worlds. We'll be reading the best responses live later today, and if one of them is yours, you'll get a Logitech G602S gaming mouse.
Not too bad. All right, everyone, we're going to take a quick break, but when we return, Europe's Lemondogs and China's OMG take to the stage for our first game of the day. The Season 3 World Championship live from Los Angeles. We'll be right back. Don't touch that browser.
Welcome back to the League of Legends Season 3 World Championship, coming to you live from Los Angeles in front of this lovely studio audience. It's time for our first match of the day as Europe's Lemondogs take on China's OMG. And thus far this tournament, China's regular season champs have applied a massive amount of early and unrelenting aggression on their way to a perfect start here at the Worlds.
I know. In both of their games, OMG were able to pull off 3-minute tower dives as cleanly as I've ever seen them executed. Lovelin has impressed me so much already. He used to be a support, and now his jungle is just on point. He used the Aatrox passive to go for a level 2 tower dive, as well as Lee Sin in their other game getting 2 kills on top of the first blood. And once OMG have that lead, they've been able to build those into some very clean team fights in the mid game, which they've been able to finish off the entire game from there. This mid laner from China, MVP Cool there, he's put up some incredible numbers. In their first 2 games, remember, one of those games was against Faker. That 15, 3, and 16 score, even more impressive now. But the most deadly man on OMG so far has been their AD carry, San. He stacked up a KDA of 19.5 in their first 2 games, while taming Wild Turtle and Piglet.
Well, today San and OMG will try to add the Lemondogs and Nukeduck to their portfolio of wins as they head to the Rift to take on Europe's second-place team.
Yeah, well, Lemondogs didn't fare as well against SKT as OMG did. Adaptation has also been one of the hallmarks of Lemondogs this summer. They show that they're capable of adapting to these new patches quicker than other teams in Europe, and now they've also had a day to try and adapt to OMG's high-pressure style. They saw that game against SKT1, so they're probably going to plan something to come at that very early. The big matchup, though, against these 2 teams is going to be in that mid lane. It's the Lemondogs' Nukeduck. He's all about controlling his lane rather than roaming very early, and then he snowballs that later into split-pushing style. He's going to be looking to lock down Cool.
And for Nukeduck and team, this Season 3 Championship is their first time on the world stage, and the Lemondogs are confident that even if they lose out in the group stage, they're bound to win over some fans.
Lemondogs is a new team which came from the bottom to the top, and now they're gonna play for the World Finals.
Lemondogs is one of the teams with the lowest fan base. It's a team formed of like fresh players. None of them had really been pro except for one, which is Tabzz.
We're kind of like the unknown team, dark horse that maybe people underestimate, and we'll try to show what we are made of in the World Finals.
We have a small fan base, no one cares about us, but we're still good at the game, so it's definitely a huge opportunity. But I think like we are here, we have like nothing to lose but everything to win. Even if it doesn't work out, we are still like safe in the next split, and we can train for like the next year and see how we do then, because we're still a pretty young team. Why shouldn't we go for like the 1 million if we are here?
We always have to deal with pressure, so I don't think it's gonna be something that hinders us at all. Hopefully it just makes us play even more focused and better.
In a way, we have entire EU on our backs right now. We present the EU and we have to make them proud.
Everything to win, nothing to lose, and I think that's what could make the Lemondogs so dangerous here.
Well, they said they don't have that many fans, but they're good at the game, so that's important.
Fans will come, no doubt about that one. Let's have a look at the starting lineups for this one, starting in the blue corner with the Lemondogs. They are Zoro in the top lane, Dexter in the jungle, Nukeduck in the mid lane, the AD carry Tabzz, and the support player Mithy.
And in the red font, it's OMG. Gogoing is up top. Lovelin's in the jungle. Their mid laner is Cool. Their AD is Sand. And their support is Big Pomelo.
So let's talk a little bit then about Champion Select, because there are some crossovers in this one. The mid laners both played Ahri up until now. We've seen Corky coming out of both AD carries. Could be a very heated Champion Select this one around.
I think that the most interesting part of this Champion Select is going to be the jungle for Lovelin. Because I talked about, Lemondogs, they adapt quickly, and they watch the other games previously. He hasn't gone to use his jungle Yorick yet. I love really crazy jungle things, and the jungle Yorick is actually a very interesting pick for them because it changes their style a lot. So if Lemondogs prepared for the early tower dives, OMG, if they get Yorick, they won't be doing that, and it'll be more of a counter jungling, and it'll be Lovelin going to attack the other jungler. So it'll definitely throw Lemondogs off if they forget to ban out that Yorick.
Well, we're into Champion Select, and we can see the first couple of bans coming out. Aatrox taken away from Lovelin. That was in their win against TSM, of course. Ended up 4-2-16 with that. Good champion to take out. Zed on the other side, we've already seen what Nukeduck can do with it.
That Aatrox ban really makes me sad. Every single game that's happened so far that Aatrox has been in, I haven't been able to cast. I have so many little nuances that go into playing Aatrox I want to contribute, but taking that away from Lovelin's a great choice. He went with the 1 buff tower dive, which is what caught the other team off guard there. Level 2 going for that and using the passive that early to get first blood was really beautiful play. But like we said, no Yorick ban here, so I think that OMG might go with that one and switch up their strategy.
Well, the other bands coming down. Caitlyn and Orianna taken away here by the Lemondogs. Caitlyn again aimed towards San. It leaves that Corky up, or at least unless OMG ban it here for their final one.
I mean, you're right to keep bringing this Corky back up. It's a very high priority throughout this whole tournament. I think it only got through once so far, not being picked or banned. And it is up first for Lemondogs, but the first pick, very important, especially we talked about the mid laners here. Both of these guys have big champion pools, and Cool is very well known for counter picking. So I don't think they're going to want to blow that one very early on the mid lane.
So Elise being hovered over and selected here by Lemondogs. Now, this is a champion that Dexter is no stranger to. We finished 9-0-6 coming out of the jungle against Gaming Gear EU. But back in the summer split, when Lemondogs destroyed Gambit all the way back near the start of the season, that's where he started as well. So this Dexter, Elise for Dexter, very dangerous.
Yeah, if you want to be dueling early in the jungle, Elise is actually pretty good. She did have some resistances taken off of her spider form, so it's a little bit harder, and she relies a lot on getting the jump on the other jungler so that she can land her combo and get the burst out early. But this Kennen pickup as well for OMG, the first pick away from them, takes that away from Zoro up in the top, who loves Kennen.
And second pick was Ahri as well. We already mentioned that both mid laners have played that up until now. And it's going to be Cool that gets that one this time around. Did play it against TSM as well while we're on that point. Finished off with 11 kills, so certainly scary. Other side, Corky coming in finally for the Lemondogs, along with the Sona for Mithy.
Yeah, that duo lane is extremely strong. Corky, once he hits level 6, poke with the rockets is really good against another AD carry that doesn't have too much to say, and someone that isn't going to be rushing a Bloodthirster, it really slowly whittles them down. And early on as well, Sona, very strong poke with the power chords. It also means in the mid game, they've got a nice area of effect power spike there from the bottom lane, coming from that Corki and Sona.
So let's have a look then over towards OMG. Picks starting to slow down a little bit as we get deeper in. Zyra is a champion that Big Pomelo has exclusively played so far in Worlds. We're only 2 games in though, and he's going to make it 3 here, along with that Lee Sin pickup for Lovelin.
So it's not going to be Jungle York. My hopes are dashed again. It's going to be the Lee Sin this time. He performed very well in the Lee Sin though as well. We talked about the early gank up top that got them first blood, 2 kills, and the first turret. That's what snowballed them their first game. And they did lock that one in. The crowd cheering for the Fizz, I think. It's not the Zach cheer. I'm pretty sure that's for Fizz.
I think we're safe in thinking that that is a cheer for Fizz coming down. Zach going to be picked up as well. Again, another champion used against Gaming Gear for Zoro Zero in the top lane. But this Fizz, we've seen throughout the season that Nukeduck is definitely good with Fizz. He's got Tabzz there to teach him, who was famed obviously for his Fizz over in Europe when he actually played mid lane before. So strong, scary lineup from Lemondogs.
Yeah, Tabzz, he's still actually confident in his ability to play mid lane as well. He said that he could play mid lane right now in the LCS, and he would be fine, even though he's already switched over to AD. So they've got a lot of mid lane players over on that Lemondogs team, but I think that, you know, it's really Zoro Zero that shoves up his lane, and he's the one who does the roaming. So it'll be interesting how they make use of this Fizz sort of in the mid game. You know, once he gets the Lich Bane, though, then he'll be looking for those roaming assassinations. Meanwhile, OMG, cool first picking that Ahri. There's not a lot of counters to Ahri. I mean, Fizz is pretty good against him, against her, but he is so confident in that, he's going to be looking to roam very early. As soon as he's level 6, the other lanes are going to have to watch out, because cool combos with Lovelin for very early roaming kills superbly well.
Final pick coming out there for OMG was the AD carry, Tristana. Let's have some thoughts on that one, Kobe.
Yeah, the Tristana, that's definitely kind of fallen off a little bit here. There's a couple reasons. Because she passively pushes her lane because of the explosive shot that you level up early anyway. And then also, with the nerfs to Blade of the Ruin King, it means that she does have to wait really till that late game. She's got a nice, very early power spike. As soon as she hits 6, it's a good burst. But then the mid game is kind of weak for her, and then she'll really shine at the late game.
So let's have a look then what you guys at home have been thinking about this one. According to lolesports.com, 70% of you think that OMG will keep their perfect record intact. And it's also between the analysts, very, very split. 2 of you, Jack and Crepo, going for Lemondogs, Monty and Double Lift going for OMG. So this one up in the air, but the fans, they've not been wrong too often in this one, we have to say, going for OMG.
Yeah, 70% is actually quite a lot. I'm pretty glad the analysts were split 2-2, because this game really will be close. It's kind of a classic matchup here. OMG, everyone knows they like the early aggression. They didn't bring out the Jungle York. They usually sin, so it's probably going to be a similar story to what we've seen from them already. And Lemondogs prefer a slower early game so they don't get behind, and then they methodically finish out the mid and late games by just taking the objectives that are clear and slowly pushing up.
So we're going to get into game then. An important one here in Group A. The unbeaten OMG taking on Europe's 2nd place. And honestly, the shining light team from the summer split, we have to say, leading all the way from week 6 in that one. So let's get into this one. We've said level 1 going to be very important. Lemondogs tried something funky against SKTT1. We all know that OMG are not scared of getting their hands dirty at level 1.
Yeah, and we talked about how Lemondogs have scouted OMG the past day, but OMG also saw that level 1. So Lemondogs are not going to pull the same trick twice. Much more defensive this time, and they only drop 1 ward. They use the rest of their champions as body wards here, just sitting in the bushes, making sure that OMG don't pull anything tricky. And it's actually a very defensive start for both teams. OMG might be doing a late invade on the blue to take this one away very early from Dexter.
So we see they're checking that brush up in the top side. They will be moving down towards that blue buff, which there's no vision there right now from Lemondogs. They've sat quite happily down on their red buff, so this could be a very interesting start. And by the looks of things, could see an early steal. They've got those deep wards down, so they're happy at this point, OMG, with the vision that they've got.
Lemondogs did not see that late invade either from OMG. So this ward, this lane ward here, that's going to see the duo lane for Lemondogs go up top, will tip off OMG. Currently, they have Kennen already up there. And it doesn't look like they are going to switch it either. He has started Doran's Blade, though. And Kennen with Doran's Blade start, it's a little bit rough in the 2 versus 1 situation, as we've already seen earlier in this tournament. And now he's going to recall. As soon as he gets that info, they are pulling the switch.
Yeah, switch going to come straight down. Big Pomelo and San headed up there. That's Zyra. Tristana lane. We see Dexter. He's kicking things off with his red buff, as is Lovelin over the other side for OMG. And we'll see if, you know, with the vision that they've got down early, whether they'll be trying to steal things away. But the stage we're at the tournament, the fact that OMG are so good at level 1 and are 2-0 in the group, looks like we're just going to see a pretty standard start coming out.
Yeah, they definitely did get their money's worth with that ward, though, because we've already seen how bad it is for a Kennen Doran Blade start. He got 1 pot, and both of their side lanes are getting back very late to the lane. San takes so much harass. Good job by Tabzz. They actually have the experience advantage here, too. So as soon as they hit level 2, they can put even more pressure.
Dangerous start here for OMG and San. Meanwhile, Nukeduck in the middle, taking a lot of damage here from Cool. And we'll see how that Fizz handle things at level 4, where he could get started. Dexter roaming up top.
I love this from Dexter. They're going to take advantage of the early harass that they got in on San. Elise is amazing at turret dives. She does have Flash and Repel available for this. There's only 150 HP on San right now. He still has his barrier, though, so this could be a well-played bait.
Well, let's see. The recall going to be started there for San. Is that the bait? Are they looking to bait them in here underneath that tower and see if they can lock them down? This could be very, very scary for Lemondogs if they get involved. San holding far enough back as to not take any poke out of Sona and Corki.
They have to be careful because the longer they wait, the more likely it is that Lovelin will be heading up top. And if they try and pull off a 3 versus 2 tower dive on OMG and fail, then it would be the complete same story that OMG's already had. Even though they're the ones not going aggressive, they're not the ones initiating the tower dive. If Lovelin's able to counter this, okay, they just show. A lot of build up there for not much action.
Well, San did manage to get himself back. You can see in the player cam down there on the left, Mithy just having a few words after that one, realizing that they couldn't quite get things together as they would have maybe hoped. But they should be able to get a bit of damage down onto this turret. Lovelin actually coming from the side. He's going to land the Q. Tabzz going to Valkyrie away, but Lovelin will follow him. He has to flash away from that one. Realize he's gone a little too deep.
Okay, flash from the jungler for exhaust off the support is a pretty decent trade. And they also chunk down Tabzz, so he's going to have to recall right now. They also did get a good try ward, but now it's Dexter. He has the opportunity to steal away this big Wraith camp and get a little experience back. Since he spent so much time camping that top lane, he's a little bit behind Lovelin right now.
He's going to be able to steal that one away. Where's he going to go back to? They put a ward down in that top tri-bush, and honestly, there's been no answer to that one coming out of OMG.
Dexter spending a lot of time here up top. I think it will pay off. They did not ward behind them. San still does have both of his summers, though.
This could be very, very interesting as Corki and Sona get back into lane. The ping's coming down. They're not 100% sure where that Lee Sin is at this point, and I think that's what's slowing them.
Oh, they have vision of this, so Dexter's going to have to back off. Not able to make anything happen from so much time spent in this side of the jungle. Now he's in trouble.
Well, going in there on towards Lovelin, who's going to chase him through from this one. Repel goes in, but he's coming straight back down on top of him. Charm will be flashed away from there by Dexter. Nukeduck came across. Nice cocoon landing there, max range onto Lovelin as Nukeduck going to go in aggressive here onto Cool, who's not really got much mana, but in the end, no kills.
Now there could be kills up top, though. More action.
San going very low, but again, they've not quite got the damage to finish this one off. Big Pomelo is going to be chasing here on towards Mithy, though. And Mithy right now does have a flash available. There is a grasping roots landing in, but San not close enough. Lovelin came up to help, but they've seen that.
So now, both junglers without flashes after that last exchange. The big thing is that Ahri, without flash, pre-6, you can actually pull off a gank. Okay, now she's 6. Tough break.
Timing on that one. There is the Grassing Roots coming out once again. There is that mid lane. Cool and Nukeduck both up at level 6 at this point. And we'll see if any action goes down there. Meanwhile, Lovelin has snuck himself into the brush in top.
And we don't have Dexter returning top either, so he's spent enough time up here. He doesn't feel like he got anything out of that time, and he wants to catch back up by farming his jungle. Whereas Lovelin has not given up on the situation up top. We see this a lot in the Chinese LPL season. The junglers will repeatedly gank the same lane over and over again. But as Lemondogs are freezing right now, there's not much that you can pull off with a Lee Sin.
And we've talked about this early game for OMG, these 3 men dives that they've done so seamlessly well in their other games. We're 7 minutes into this one, and Lemondogs have managed to hold all those attempts away.
It is a little bit of an interesting twist from OMG going with Tristana here too. They do have a stronger late game than they usually do. They've got Ahri, who's an amazing assassin, one of the most highly prized assassins in the game right now, to go pick people off. And then they also have a lot of mid-line control for their team fighting situations. If they have a Slicing Maelstrom from Kennen plus the Stranglethorns from Zyra, it's a huge amount of area control among the first dragon fight that will come out. So they actually have a very well-rounded team composition right now, and the early game is really just up to the plays that Lovelin can or can't make. So far, Dexter's been done a good job at going even with Lovelin.
And he will pick up his red buff once again. We'll see if he, with that, takes himself into a lane. This mid lane been very quiet in terms of the junglers. They've not really visited there whatsoever. Something that surprised me, because Dex, who we've seen in the past, has spent a lot of time helping out Nukeduck. Here he comes, the cocoon though, not going to land. Cool, of course, has his ultimate available. Going to be hard to lock down.
Yeah, that was sort of a half-hearted gank right there. You didn't really expect to burn anything. Cool has his Spirit Rush available, so he could have even burned that if he had to. But really the story from all the early action was the CS lead that Tabzz has been able to accrue over San, and that is also partially due... Okay, so that was the ticking damage there. It's unfortunate. Dexter. Oh, here we go, aggressive up top.
Diving onto Mithy, exhaust is put down onto him. There's a ward. Mithy gonna fall. It's first blood coming in, but will they be able to make it too? Right now, Tabzz, he's gonna stick around because Dexter's coming in. It's Tabzz that gets the kill back. First blood to OMG, but an instant reply from Lemondogs.
And that was a good job of Tabzz pulling in the AD and support. After he had already lost his support, they were still able to answer with a kill at least. So it wasn't as bad as it looked. I was about to talk about the CS lead that he has gotten over San though, and it was because they switched those lanes. So San and Big Camille were a little bit late to lane, and that's why they got chunked down so early from the power chord of Sona and the phosphorus bomb of Corki.
So Nukeduck, you'll notice no blue buff after that was taken by Dexter. A little bit unfortunate, not the end of the world for this one though.
Yeah, there's a few things they have to be wary of when you're a mid laner and you're trying to get that blue buff from your jungler. It's the red buff burn. Also, there's that mastery in defense where the minion or the monsters will do damage to themselves when they hit your jungler. And then you also have to worry about the elite spiders.
And obviously, Dexter didn't worry about any of them well enough. Able to pick that one up. We'll just say he wanted to do that. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt from this side of things. Cool, though, on the other side, does have that blue buff gifted to him by Lovelin. Also has a nice CS lead there in that mid lane.
And because Fizz is melee, he often gets behind in CS fairly early. Being behind only 11 right now at 10 minutes is actually very well done by Nukeduck. I think that's a very acceptable CS disadvantage for a Fizz versus Ahri matchup.
Wow, pink ward's coming down there, and Lemondogs instantly getting themselves in position from that one. Dexter is around that area as well. Zoro0 has actually come down from this top lane, and this is where things get dangerous. We mentioned earlier Zoro0 not scared to leave that top lane to get involved in mid.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was a sort of classic Zoro0 move, where he's got pink ward in that tri-bush, shove up the lane, then rotate down to try and make something happen mid. Cool right now is just so mobile, though. They weren't able to take advantage of these triple pink wards that Lemondogs have placed up in the top side.
So earlier on, obviously Zach and Kennen were facing off down in this bottom lane. They've now switched since then, but Zoro are doing a good job still of holding out on that one. Just 5 CS behind at this point. Got that Cowl in there as well, working himself up. And we'll see how that one goes. Double Doran's Blade blasting one now in there as well for Gogoing's Kennen.
Yeah, the Zac Kennen matchup is, you know, just kind of a farming matchup right now because Zac has gone Doran shield to start, reducing the auto attacks, which is Kennen's early harass, and then with the Cowl it gets also the magic resist and regen for the magic damage that Kennen puts out at later stages. So
Nukeduck there taking a bit more damage. Lovelin actually inside of the Tribush right now. This could be extremely dangerous on top of the wall.
Opportunity for a counter gank here. Okay, this is going to be a 3-on-3. Get a little excited. There they go.
Cocoon landed onto him. They're going to all dive onto him. Flash away from Lovelin. But can he escape this one? He gets the W off towards Sand. Stays alive, but he's low now, and Dragon is there.
Yeah, that's still definitely a win for Lemondogs. Chunking out the jungler that low means that now Dexter has free roam of the map. He was seen by this pink ward going up mid, and Cool is not afraid.
There's Chum the Waters coming down. Can they lock him up?
Cocoon
will land in onto him. Cool in trouble. Has to use the ultimate to dash back towards his turret. Stays alive.
So Dexter, so far, chunking down Lovelin, then chunking down mid lane. He's got some good harass off, but he hasn't really been able to convert anything.
Wow, dive in there. Crescendo coming back, but it won't be enough to save Mithy. There's the jump and the Valkyrie away from Tabzz at exactly the same time. Tabzz survives. No one there to follow up like that last one, though.
So that's the post-level 6 Tristana that I was talking about, the burst that he has with the rocket jump, explosive shot, and buster shot. It's a very good combo for killing supports.
So, we were talking about how Dragon was opened up by Lemondogs earlier with that damage. Now it's OMG with that kill that are in position and have got it down to below half HP. Dexter is hanging around. He wants to go for the steal. That won't happen, though. It's Lovelin that will smite that one away, and Lemondogs back off.
This duo lane for OMG is doing a lot of work for them right now. Even with that early CS disadvantage, they've been able to make plays on their own. And this one was able to be converted into a dragon. This is one of the reasons that OMG were at the top of the LPL, the Chinese scene. They often will fight and then go straight for objectives just like that. Very well done.
See Nukeduck able to pretty much dodge everything that Cool's throwing at him there. That CS lead has slightly increased for him. We can see that Nukeduck wants to make sure he's got vision around that area. He doesn't quite have Chum the Waters off cooldown, so wants to be very, very safe on that front. Lovelin not being able to get involved in any of the 2 kills right now. For an OMG game, this is actually really, really low in terms of kills.
I'm definitely surprised that it's actually the bottom lane for OMG that's picking up the slack in the early game that you know Lovelin hasn't been able to convert. But again, you have to applaud them. And now he got it this time, so that's why everybody's laughing.
It did. Dexter actually backed away completely from that one. He's like, no, don't do that again, Dexter. That wouldn't be very nice of you. Nukeduck able to pick up his first blue buff of the game here, 14.5 minutes down. Let's have a look at the overall picture. It's around about a 2,000 gold lead at this point for OMG.
And again, even though OMG is ahead, Nukeduck in the mid lane is doing very well. We talked about his style being just staying in mid lane mostly and until he can accrue that big power spike. He's doing a good job on Fizz, staying relatively close with Ahri, which is difficult to do. And once he's able to combine this Sheen and Blasting Wand up into that Lich Bane, then he'll start to look for the plays that he can create on other members of OMG.
Let's have a look down the AD carries here as well while we're at it. 2 out of the 3 components, main components of that Trinity Force done for Tabzz as Corki. On the other side, we can see that you know the workings for Tristana there with that Vamp Scepter for a Bloodthirster, but also looking like it will be that Infinity Edge first.
Pretty classic there for Tristana. She really does thrive in the end game with that attack speed she gets from her rapid fire ability. So going Infinity Edge or Bloodthirster, you know, into Phantom Dancer is a very classic build. Slay the Ruin King also fairly popular, but like I said, with the range nerf and the cooldown nerf to the active, some people are definitely thinking twice about it on her now even.
Sand just freezing out that lane here. They've got a single ward down, to be honest, in the river there. obviously been very careful about Dexter because in his previous Elise games, the fact that he's got off to such strong starts has been what's helped Lemondogs go forward in the game. This time around, that's not quite worked out for him the way they'd have wished.
Well, I think, yeah, both of the junglers have matched up very well here. Nukeduck just throwing off the blue buff ultimate there. It's because he does have that cooldown reduction, so he's not worried about just using that on Ahri very quickly. They trade ultimate actives right there, and they'll be back up at very similar times.
Actually, Lovelin is coming around here. They're pinged right on top of him. That's the ward that Nukeduck put down a little bit earlier on when he came back into that lane. Tabzz and Mithy also been very careful in the bottom side as well. They saw that Big Pomelo had just gone out there toward. Look at this. OMG actually moving up through the side of the Lemondogs jungle.
Really big fans of contesting the blue buffs over and over. Wow, he runs into the wall. Leeson couldn't quite get over there. But what I really want to point out is definitely some miscommunication here from OMG. They've built 2 of these Abyssal Scepters on each of their solo laners. Ahri, if she wanted an item for herself, if they were going to be split up. Well, Nukeduck does get dove here by Lovelin.
Yeah, kicking him, or trying to kick him back towards Cool there. Didn't quite work out, but either way, it's freed them up for their second turret takedown of the game here in that mid lane. And you can see that while it's not a high kill game, they're starting to really build up that gold lead with that dragon, with those couple of turrets going down.
And the roam is going to continue here from Lovelin. They've comboed Gogoing after he took his turret. He's double roaming with the jungler now. They've all set their sights towards this bottom lane, and Lemondogs have to be aware of this one.
But can they defend it? That's the problem. They've got 4 versus 3 down here, and you can see that they're just not comfortable with sticking around for that one. OMG going to pick up the 3rd and final outer turret left there that was standing for the Lemondogs.
All right, since they aren't going to fight over this, we have a little bit of time to go back over those dual Abyssal Scepters that were bought. If, you know, Gogoing and Cool were like, okay, we're going to be split up, so we're going to both want these auras, then a solo item for Ahri would be the Deathfire Grasp if he was going to rush something, if they wanted 100% pure. I think that was definitely miscommunication on their parts. They both got the same aura here, and that is a little bit of hope for Lemondogs because some of that gold lead is spent in maybe in not most optimal way for OMG. Meanwhile, we've hit that Lich Bane, and we've also hit the Trinity Force for Lemondogs. So even though they're behind right now, they have fairly good items for the next dragon that pops up. 30 seconds on the next dragon will be very telling for the mid game. If Lemondogs decide to go for this one and OMG contest, it's going to be a very, very dirty fight.
Well, Zoro0 has come away from that top lane now. We can see that Cool in middle. He's going to be pushed a little bit here by Nukeduck, but Lemondogs trying to hold this position in here on the dragon. They've got pink wards down. They've got all 5 men on this bottom side. Now Kennen is nowhere near. He's starting to come down. Tristana coming from base as well. Lemondogs are going to get a lot of damage, if not take it, before OMG can get there.
Only thing Lemondogs have to worry about here is Cool picking one person off and assassinating them. They did have Gogoing roam down, so now Lemondogs are actually forced to try and get behind their turret before OMG can actually start getting damage on it. They're a few steps behind right now.
Well, let's see. 4 men on top of it. Will be a 5th as Big Pomelo comes around, and not sure that Lemondogs can stop this happening. That turret being shredded down right now. Will fall, but here comes Zoro0 from the side. Where are they going? They've gone on towards Gogoing. They're going to dive right on him. He gets nuked down. There's a 4-man crescendo at the back as well. Cool and Big Pomelo both going low as Tabzz Valkyrie's in. He picks up another one. Here comes Zoro0 once again. Lovelin actually diving to the back line. He's going to fall, and right now 4 men are down. Only San left alive here for OMG. Can they carry on and keep up with him? No, they can't. They let him go. Well, that's 3 men left alive to push that outer turret in mid.
Very good initiate there from Lemondogs just at the end of the turret, so they were able to get the damage down before OMG were able to react. We saw Gogoing get bursted completely down by Nukeduck, getting chunked out on the side here. All right, yeah, so let's look. A beautiful cocoon plus the initiate from Zoro0, and Gogoing gets blasted by Nukeduck. This is the Abyssal Scepter rather than the Hourglass for him. And at this point, that big one missing was huge, actually, for OMG. And that's the reason that they were actually to answer right here. San in the back was still at full life, so he was comfortable rocket jumping in. One of the few situations we have the Tristana going for those very late rocket jumps into a full team. but he was confident enough, especially since there was no more mana left on Nukeduck, that he could clean that one up.
So that leaves us at 5-4 in kills, 4-0 in turrets though for OMG. Something that Lemondogs will be certainly thinking about changing. It's close to a 4,000 gold lead as well for the Chinese side at this point.
And I think really doubling up on those Abyssal Scepters right there. If Gogoing either had an Hourglass or cool. Oh no, no Hourglass still. He's going down.
Yeah, they're going to bounce onto him here with Zach as well. It's Tabzz that will finish off that one. And I was talking about towers and how they want to go for them. Meanwhile, Nukeduck here in the mid lane. He's in all kinds of trouble. He's a dead man. Cool will pick that one off. But they trade that for a killing top plus that tower.
Dual assassinates right here for both teams. But it's Lemondogs who got the turret down. So at least they got their first turret taken. That's some global gold for them. This is really where pretty much all the deficit is coming from for Lemondogs right now, is in turret money. OMG took this opportunity to get full ward control of the lizard side jungle of Lemondogs though, and that's a very scary thing when you have an Ahri and when you have a Lee Sin.
So let's have a look down the items once again. AD carries now. We mentioned that Triforce earlier, finish for Tabzz. He's now added that last Whisper into that one. Other side, for Tristana at 3-0-1, we should mention as well right now for San. And a goal between them is still in favor of San down there. Only a couple of CS in the lead, but 3-0-1 and those extra global objectives that OMG have been able to pick up. He's already got that Infinity Edge done as well.
Yeah, it's all that tower money is still keeping OMG ahead. But if Lemondogs can keep this one solid out for a little bit longer, they are going to look for picks with their Fizz. It's just that OMG are doing the exact same thing with their Ahri. Mithy doing a very good job with that Oracles, clearing out their lizard side jungle. Nukeduck finds his pick.
There is Chum the Waters coming in. San had already jumped away, and look at the damage there coming out from Nukeduck's Fizz. He will pick up another kill for himself, but right now, Cool going in, Mithy going low, puts down the crescendo onto three of them. We're going to have Zoro diving in. There is Gogoing, popping his ultimate. Tabzz falling low. He will be picked up in the end. They switch around to Lovelin, and now Tabzz finally getting in onto the fight. He'll get another one back. It will end 2 for 2.
So, I was talking about both assassins getting picks. They both got their picks right there. Nukeduck got his solo onto San, but then Cool had a very good charm under the turret onto Mithy, completely taking him out. He did get crescendo off, which almost saved it for them. And another trade here for both teams. This is a very close game. Even though OMG have the lead, the outer turrets are looking a little bit weak for them. So Lemondogs can actually close up that gold lead fairly quickly with just one team fight. One successful team fight. It's a better choice of words.
I got you. Lovely. Gogoing is close to finishing off that Zhonya's Hourglass there as well, which is certainly going to be helping things out as things go forward. That DFG we saw from Cool last time in that fight, how dangerous it is at this point. Other side, Zhonya's is now added in to that Lich Bane for Nukeduck, and well, we all know what a Fizz can do at this stage.
That is I think that is the scariest point for a Fizz, because Lich Bane, yes, that's a crucial damage spike for him. He gets a huge amount of power from adding another AP ratio to his already very strong kit. But now, with the Hourglass, he has the ability to buy himself time for those cooldowns to get another rotation of abilities off, and he becomes an extremely potent assassin right now. Same thing, though, for Cool. He has the two items that make Ahri devastating right now. He finally has the Deathfire Grass. He will be able to kill Mithy all by himself next time.
Well, let's see right now a bit of a dance around, because that dragon, as you see in the top left, is coming up in around about 20 seconds time. Pink Ward's put down a Oracle Elixir for Big Pomelo right now. They've got the positional advantage, but Lemondogs, we've seen anything from them before. They're not going to let that go.
And OMG are ready to fight for this one. They have the Hourglass now on Gogoing. Like we said, the Deathfire Grass is ready to go. This is definitely going to be a brawl between all 10 members.
There is Zoro getting himself in the corner. They've cleared out the vision that Lovelin put down. Will he decide to jump over onto the OMG team?
This is all about the area control from the two AoE support ultimates that are going to go down. If Mithy can land a good crescendo first, then Lemondogs can get the jump on this fight.
Zoro starting to charge up. The dragon has gone down, but look at the damage coming onto Zoro already. And he can jump away from the backside of that dragon pit, but we see Lemondogs going south. OMG going straight towards that mid lane.
This is, again, the same thing we saw at the last Dragon. Lemondogs grab it, but OMG get the positional advantage, pushing down the lane first. Last time, they got a turret, even though Lemondogs won the team fight. This time, Lemondogs are actually in a small corridor, which is very bad for them. Zyra would be huge. They can't walk down that small corridor.
Turret damage already coming in here from OMG. Not quite half health taken away, but certainly a good chunk there. Here comes Mithy from the side. Flash Crescendo comes in. Chum the Waters goes down onto Gogoing. There's a Stranglethorns as Dexter has to flash away, but Tabzz is right on top of them. Sorry, Nukeduck on top of them there with that Fizz. He will use the Zhonya's, but he's miles away from the rest of the team. He's still managing to get away. There is the elastic slingshot in. Let's Bounce comes down. Lovelin's going to have to try and escape this one. Flash over the wall from Tabzz. That's a double kill for him, and somehow they turn that around there, and it will end with a 2-0.
Again, Gogoing right here. Gogoing gets chunked out early. He has to burn his Flash and his Zhonya's before he even can get the damage from his Maelstrom. That was just huge for them. Lemondogs doing a great job here. Always targeting Gogoing. The beautiful Flash Crescendo I talked about. The ultimate's coming from there. He had to use his Zhonya's everything. Now he's going to pop it late. Nukeduck does a great job kiting the damage from this ultimate. And we talked about the Hourglass allowing him to get another rotation off. He gets it here to survive. 0-0 is not afraid to go back in because he's got the Cell Division. And right here, Lovelin actually with his Safeguard second active smites the Golem for the extra small HP that you get from Spell Vamp. But that's not going to save you from a full health Corki.
No, Corki able to finish that one off, and look at that gold. It's come back to just 200 the difference, 10-7. 2 turrets still behind are the Lemondogs right now, but these fights slowly but surely working in their favor. They're now starting to take control of OMG's jungle.
Yeah, that last fight was a huge confidence booster for Lemondogs. Can't emphasize enough their focus on Gogoing, getting him to burn the Flash and the Hourglass before slicing Maelstrom, effectively negating that huge area control that they wanted with that pick. It's completely deciding these team fights.
Nukeduck is sat waiting by that top lane. The lure of a juicy wave of minions coming around. He's thinking someone's going to get drawn into that, and he wouldn't be too far away. But Lovelin coming in. Is he going to go for a 2v1? I doubt it. And he decides, I'm going to get it away from this one. Let's not stick around. Back straight off.
OMG, though, they're still slightly ahead in gold, and they still, in their back pockets, have this late-game Tristana. Already Infinity Edge plus Phantom Dancer completed. So if they are able to not have Gogoing chunked out very early, they still have a really strong chance in the team fights because they can control the mid grounds, and Tristana will be able to put out a lot of damage free-firing from the back line.
Lemondogs taking down, finally, that third and final outer turret of the game. So, a little bit more even on that front. Still the gold sits at 300 to 400 as it starts to tick around. Actually, that'll change things there with a big, massive wave of creeps. And now, awards start to go down towards Baron. Tense time here in this game, almost 30 minutes in.
Getting really tense right now. It's all about the first few steps of those team fights. Again, they're waiting for flashes here for Lemondogs. The two reasons that they did so well was the Flash Crescendo from Mithy, huge initiate, and then Nukeduck was only slippery enough to get out of that with his life because he also had his Flash. So that was the only reason he could kite this whole OMG team. And they're just spreading out, grabbing CS until they get those very important summoners back up.
So everyone headed home right now. A Void Staff was completed for Cool, and a lot of pink walls being picked up here by OMG. So they want to try and assert some dominance when it comes to that Vision Wall, which right now they're certainly not doing a bad job of, but the fact they've lost that outer turret now and Lemondogs have shown they're willing to get into the OMG jungle to start that Vision Wall going means that they're going to have to put down more pinks to try and clear out.
Mithy's got an Oracles, but he has to be so careful with it. At any point, if Cool gets a Spirit Rush into Charm on him, he will die because with that Deathfire Grasp and the Void Staff you just pointed out, he can easily burst down the support in one single rotation.
So, we heard earlier on, 10 minutes was the time that Lemondogs have to really survive to get things going in this game. They've made it to 30. And honestly, from the summer split, the experience that we have is that Lemondogs, they're not a flashy team. They like to play these longer games. They get the job done.
They are getting the job done so far. I think that people have been underestimating the Chinese team in the mid and late game. Their team fights are usually very clean. I think that if they make a couple small adjustments to their team fight and their positioning, that they can still easily win that team fight. And that's why Lemondogs are still very wary. They need to get those very crisp flash crescendos to start things off.
Right now, only 400 gold separates these two, and both of them setting up in middle. Again, as I mentioned, the wards are being cleared out with those Oracle Elixirs, with the pink wards that have been put down from both sides of the map. For now, it's OMG who force Lemondogs back, and this little dance, it could go on for a while, but it's going to get explosive at some point.
Yeah, they're trading. They're taking turns trading with the ward killing around Baron. Lemondogs are taking advantage of this lapse by grabbing the global gold from Dragon, but since OMG are the ones in control of Baron right now, it is a little bit risky. This is actually a very confident play here from Lemondogs, and it does get them 1,000 global gold.
Zoro Zero just face checked a little bit there, took some damage, but doesn't really matter. He's seen the rest of the team, and Lemondogs actually pushing up here on towards the turret. Nukeduck dives in onto the back line. He is miles away, will actually flash away a little bit. Here is Gogoing moving around the side as well. He's got 3 of them trapped in. There is a crescendo. Cool's going to be locked down, but can he get the charm onto Dexter? Yes, he can. It's Sam that finishes off as Nukeduck tried to get Lovelin there at the back, but now he's running for his life. The rest of Lemondogs have already backed away to River, and it's Nukeduck that's going to be chased down from this one, managing to avoid a little bit of that damage, but how far can you really get against this Tristana? We'll see once his rocket jump comes up. There we go, straight in on towards Nukeduck, uses that Zhonya's. Can he get down the charm? A little bit too early, but there's the explosion. San takes down Nukeduck.
Nukeduck there, very aggressive initiate with the Fizz going so deep. I think they were overconfident with the way the last 2 team fights went. They thought they could even tower dive. That is not the case here against OMG. Like we said, Gogoing got off his slicing maelstrom that time, and it was devastating. That might even end up costing them this Baron. Only 2 members of Lemondogs in position here.
Baron going down. We just saw the stats there for average game time so far in Worlds, and OMG's games up until now have been that little bit longer. So there is the Baron taking down. Yeah. Great pickup for OMG.
Yeah, that was definitely Lemondogs getting a little overconfident. Nukeduck, he was happy with how he was able to 100% San up in that top lane by himself, but that was definitely an over-aggressive move, and they paid the price with a huge, huge deficit now. Baron buff means even more than the gold that they've got.
So what are Lemondogs going to do from this one? We saw them being overly aggressive when they were feeling confident. Now their opponents have that Baron buff on, so surely a little bit quiet at times incoming here for the Lemondogs. Not wanting to throw any potential away that they've got from this one. It is still very close, but that Tristana really going to start to become a problem, as we saw in that last fight.
Oh yeah, she's very, very strong at this point. She hit? Yes, that is level 18 Tristana, so she has the maximum range. And with Gogoing now being successful with his slicing maelstroms, it buys her that time to get her DPS out. I think that another thing that contributed to Lemondogs' overconfidence there was that the early double up of the Abyssal Scepters that were bought by both solo laners of OMG. OMG kind of, they lost out on that early phase where we see them usually put a lot of aggression. With the 2 Abyssal Scepters, they didn't have enough to win the mid-game team fight where they usually get the first step.
I'm wondering what they're going to put into effect here with that Baron. You know, most teams that will pick it up at that stage will say, okay, now it's time to push some towers down to start those team fights off. But up until now, OMG, they've kind of sat back here and just pushed those waves out. So Lemondogs, they're not really losing too much when it comes to that immediate power that Baron gave them.
And Lemondogs are actually happy for a stall right now. You know, they're waiting for not only the Baron buff to drop off, but also, again, those flashes that they have to have in order to make the first move. They have to be the ones with the initiates here. They have to be the ones landing those crescendos and bursting down people like Gogoing before they get off their key spells. This tower only has one more hit, though.
There we go, finished off. Obviously, OMG did do a little bit of damage to that one earlier on, but that is at least something they picked up here with that Baron buff. It leaves the inhibitor completely open now for the taking, but you can see they're pretty wary of actually going into the base at this point, not wanting to throw things away. Dragon coming up in just under 2 minutes' time as well. But right now it's a bit of a skirmish, a back and forth on the steps of the base.
Yeah. I was also talking about San either going Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, or Infinity Phantom Dancer. He's got both right now. So not only does he have all that damage coming from the backline, but he also has Sustain. So after he rocket jumps away or Buster shots you away, he can lifesteal back up off of your tanks and get back to full life.
So, inhibitor focus down to less than half. OMG tread very, very carefully here, making a step closer to taking down the first inhibitor of this game. There we go, Sang gonna home in onto it. They are gonna be able to take that inhibitor. Nukeduck actually taking a lot of damage there and getting stunned up by Gogoing, but OMG taking down the inhib. They're gonna be happy and back away.
That's that 703 range that we always talk about late game Tristana being so strong. She can get those stray shots onto an objective like a tower or an inhibitor without even having your front line go in. Very, very safe take right there. And then now it's actually OMG, the ones that are playing the slow, methodical game, ending this one out, taking all of the outer objectives now, trying to add more gold onto this inhibitor lead that they've got.
Well, they're going to poke down the inner turret in this bottom lane right now. Zoro actually dives in, but he's down to less than half HP. There's a crescendo coming in. Mithy gets knocked up. Lovelin was caught there by Chum the Waters, but he only lost half of his health. Gogoing finally taken down. Right now, only one man down for OMG. That could change here quickly as Big Pomelo goes low. Lovelin is still low. San going very far forward in this one, but still they stand. Look at his health here, San. He's regenerating up so quickly.
Yeah. The Bloodthirster right there definitely paying off. He's still back to full life, and 4 members means they can go for this one. They take down the turret, and they continue to press in.
Keep going on to this one. San not worried at this point, thanks to that lifesteal that he's going to be able to get back by that next minion wave coming down. He sets about the tower. Lovelin trying to get those coconuts onto Lemondogs to see if he can get in. Nukeduck was having a sniff as well, but that Tristana going to outrange him by a mile, and he knows that he just can't get close enough to even think about going in.
It's also scary because he already has Cowl there, San on Tristana, and once that turns into the Banshee's Veil, you won't even be able to catch him off guard and pick him off. If Nukeduck goes for his combo, he can't, either the Chum the Waters or his initial damage burst in are going to be negated. It's a good job by OMG. They're showing up all their weaknesses here, and it looks like they have a very solid hold on this end game.
So Baron buff has now worn off and will be spawning again in 1.5 minutes time. The Dragon is available for the taking as well, which the later we go down this one, the gold that it offers obviously not going to be the biggest thing around, but certainly something that OMG will quite happily deny to the Lemondogs. Right now though, probably going to be all about regaining control of this Baron area again.
And again, Lemondogs do have to be extremely careful right now. If they don't get the first step, then they're going to pay for it. We've seen 2 Slicing Maelstroms be successful and 2 very huge, crucial team fights for OMG, grabbing them this huge lead. Now that their base is wide open as well, it's very dangerous then for them to extend up to that Baron pit to try and keep their vision alive.
Crescendo is up for Mithy. He's so far this game done well with getting the initiations from it, but without the flash available to him, it becomes all that much harder. Right now, Nukeduck here waiting in the tri-bush. Lovelin puts a ward straight on top of his head. And just to add insult to injury, we'll clear out the wards from earlier on with that Oracle Elixir that he's got running.
Now dual death caps bought by both solo laners of OMG as well. So the power spike up here for all this dual AP means that they are going to have pretty much all the control that they need in a team fight. And it's going to be OMG making a huge mistake if they actually lose this one.
Well, the ping's going down. Zoro on the front, just narrowly avoiding the charm. Taking some poke back, but he is going to move in and try and get OMG out of position from this one. And interestingly enough, Lemondogs able to go through there and grab that Baron area control.
Now, Zach is a very, very chancy initiator because the other team can see that shadow, and if he misses his elastic slingshot, he can get chunked out before the team fight even starts, just like last time.
And there we go. He's already down to less than half. He's going to let bouncers go. Going on the back. Great crescendo from Mithy, but will he be able to survive? No, he won't. Cool now on a rampage as he shuts him down. Flashes in as well. They're going to keep up with the kills. Tabzz is going to fall. That's a double kill here for Cool. Dexter's walking away on the backside. Tabzz is being chased down by Lovelin right now. This is going to be a close fight. The Q misses. Nukeduck going to take him out. Brilliant stuff from Nukeduck, but now Dexter is being chased as well by San on this bottom side of the river. Is he going to be able to escape? No, he's not going to be able to. Nukeduck even managing another one. Finished off in the end, though, by the plants.
All right, yeah, so Zach is inherently a chancy initiator, very risky, because if you do miss that elastic slingshot and your team is not immediately following up, you get bursted down before the team fight even starts. And now OMG, with those death timers, they're running on Nexus.
They're looking.
Oh, inhibitor respawn.
Oh, wow. That's always a bit of a pain. But OMG, you know, they've got these big death timers coming in. They are going to start taking down those Nexus turrets. They're going to pick up the Nexus kill and go 3-0 here with that victory over Lemondogs in Group A.
Congratulations to OMG. They look very, very strong.
We have to give credit here to the Lemondogs as well. You know, this game was incredibly close for the longest of times. This wasn't, you know, level 1 masses of fights. It was a much slower game, to be honest. But OMG showing that they can perform in a fast game or a slow game. It doesn't matter to them. They know how to do this.
I think that is the biggest takeaway from this one. Going up against Lemondogs, who are known for the slow late game and the strong late game, they were able to accrue the early tower lead, and even though they started dual Abyssal Scepters, once they got the team fight to go their way, with the cannon not being bursted down first, they won pretty much everything after that.
It's a real question now. Who can beat OMG? You know, coming into this one, we knew how strong we were. We were a little bit fooled almost, I think, to say that OMG weren't in the quarterfinals. Let's be honest, because they had dominated LPL throughout Season 3. They lost to Royal Club, obviously, in the qualifier finals, and they came into the group stage. But that almost tricked us into thinking that they're maybe not going to be as strong as they are. And we've seen already they've beaten the top teams in the group.
We also have to remember still, this game was so close.
Yeah.
Just a few moves at the very beginning of team fights basically decided that game.
So let's get over to Riv and the guys at the desk for their thoughts on OMG's brilliant win.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and there is quite a bit to talk about. We're all pretty much huddled around each other for this entire match, back and forth, yes or no, you guys disagreeing and agreeing, so let's start it right away, and the only spot to start is picks and bans, so Crepo, hit us with that knowledge.
It was really interesting pick and ban phase. Like, immediately we could see Ahri was left open and not first pick. That indicates, like, two things. They don't care about the Ahri, or, like, either it's lack of respect or it's preparation. And this time it was preparation. We could really see Ahri open means Fizz. So on the last rotation, they would pick Fizz. Then it comes to the point, what are you going to first pick? Elise. But to my knowledge, I'm not 100% sure here. I asked Money, he wasn't 100% either. Do they play a lot of Elise? OMG, we don't know. But it really felt like Lemondogs could have actually first picked Kennen there. Zach was... I didn't see it. Then in the middle of the game, I started seeing, but then due to item choices, it wasn't as effective. We'll get to that later. So they went out to Elise, picked up the Fizz as a counter to Ahri, and actually we went really well to the point where we lost his blue buff to the jungler. But yeah, I think that the game went into its final fold, or when it did initially, went really well for Lemondogs when they forced the lane swap and OMG had to react.
Right at the start of the game, even though you said they got a little bit lucky because OMG was so tunneled on getting that 2v2 lane.
Yeah, good point.
And Double F can talk about the lane matchup, like why they would have wanted that beforehand. But because they got to the lane so late, it put basically Zach at an early survivability against Kennen, which shouldn't really be the case either, and it allowed Corki to push to the lane early on for Lemondogs, which is why it seemed like they should have had control of that game, and it created a slow opening.
And that's just why I wanted to illustrate the Chinese bottom lanes. Like, this guy Son, he doesn't care about Corki. He doesn't have to play it. He can just play Tristana. It's a comfortable skill matchup for him, and he'll outscale Corki, as you saw this game. His item choice was really interesting, to say the least, because he didn't have a Lasso Spirit, even with 5-item Tristana. But it doesn't matter, because Tristana is just a monster late game, and he managed to, even with the bad start, make it to the mid-late game as Trist.
It wasn't just a lane swap, though, for me. Taking a look at Lovelin's early jungle path, I mean, we were talking about how the warding effectively gave them a free blue steal that would have been unknown to the Lemondogs. And instead he started red, blue, Wraiths, and then tried to gank that mid lane. And it wasn't the same kind of pathing efficiency like we saw against SK Telecom.
Then at the same time, it would have, if he would have changed his path, he would have probably ended up ganking top lane, which due to the lane swap was initially behind. You saw Dexter waiting there for a minute. So actually, Lovelin not playing the ideal path went in OMG's favor because Dexter was camping that top lane rush for over like a minute.
He was hoping for a counter gank.
He was hoping for a counter gank, and it didn't came. And actually, that put OMG slightly ahead. Although you have to at the same time admit that Lemondogs were really lucky because they went for a super safe start because their level 1 was inferior. And
Right, but Dexter wouldn't have been able to be up there if he hadn't gotten his own blue and then went top either. So if they had taken blue to red,
completely agree.
So I think it just changed everything.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I feel like that game was so much a Lemondogs style of game and a Lemondogs game to win because the laning phase being slow is exactly what they wanted. But then Mithy kept getting hit by the roots from Zyra in lane. It turned that bottom lane around. There was the very unlucky blue buff that Nukeduck wasn't able to get on Fizz, and those two things combined swung so much momentum back for
that
OMG.
Influenced the Dragon. The first Dragon OMG got so much, because, I mean, you can always go into hypotheticals, but an Ahri with blue buff pushing down a Fizz means Fizz will farm almost the same on their tower because Nukeduck is such a mechanically strong player, but he will always be the second one to farm.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest factors that changed that game was the top laners. Zach's poor item choice with Sork Shoes just let him get CC'd as the game went on, but Kennen also played really, I would say, shaky. He got caught a lot. Gogoing was like always in front, getting caught, had to flash out. And at one point he hourglassed, and then he ultied after his hourglass was done, hitting nobody. So he had a really rocky start to the game, but you can fix that problem as the game goes on. You can play better, but you can never go back on a bad item choice. And I feel like if Zach went Mercs, yeah, you could sell it, but you
should have sold it.
You lose a lot of money.
After 2 fights with those sword shoes, he should have sold it.
Yeah, he was doing nothing.
Especially because, we saw those sword shoes come in, and to put this in context, it's because of those tenacity nerfs on Zach's ultimate. So it looked like Zora wasn't comfortable on playing on the new Zach, perhaps, that he hadn't really gotten in there and tested it. I think
do you think he was tested it because he was up against something that caught your eye as well as the double early Abyssal Scepter build coming out from OMG? So he's kind of thinking he needs to be able to impact for his team as well?
Well, it did give them a lot of that magic resistance. We were all talking about this as well against, the Corki missiles, and we had the Elise as well. So a lot of AP damage coming out of the team. However, well, I think it was okay on the Kennen because the Kennen's going to get hit by all of that stuff. I still think that even though Fizz is very strong and you may want to itemize MR, I still really like the DFG first because Cool is a playmaker. He's the core of OMG, and I think he should have more confidence in himself, really, to be able to skirt the outside of that AoE.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I just wanted to point out, Lemondogs team comp works only when Zach is really disruptive, and it's just he needs to get in there, right? Like they have Fizz, they have Elise, they have these champions they need to get in with the disruption of Zach, and he was just stopped in his tracks every team fight.
If he lands a perfect light bounce, though, then Magic Pen boots are better. But then he needs to land spot on 3 people and then avoid getting stunned. Although we have to look, if we saw, Lemondogs actually came back. So they won early.
It was such a crazy
They got behind. Then Nukeduck started the Nukeduck show, pretty much.
Yep.
Up until the point where he dived mid past the tower. And I think that was because he did not see Tristana building Spectre's Cowl. Because otherwise he would have probably blown up Tristana. His team would have dove in with him, not cared about fighting on a tower. But I think that Spectre's Cowl right there, combined with Nukeduck's slight bit of arrogance, which actually gives him so many kills on the other hand, definitely turned that game around.
Well, there's also, after that, I feel like Gogoing's just split-second aggression before the rest of the team could come in as well.
Zoning
him out with his ult, and Cool was there with the follow-up charm also. So I think it was a good reaction as well from OMG.
Yeah, I think really surprisingly, the item choices from OMG had a fairly large impact on the victory for the game, because I know we actually had a pretty lengthy discussion about the double Abyssal Scepter and which one
I still
was
don't
better.
like it.
Pretty lengthy.
Do you like it?
See, I like the double Abyssal Scepter from them.
I like double Abyssal. I just prefer DFG before Abyssal.
Well, here's why I like the double Abyssal Scepter here, and I think it's one of the reasons that Nukeduck tunneled so hard on Tristana in the end, because as soon as they rush the Abyssal on the mid lane Ahri, it's because he respects Nukeduck. Right? And so many, not many people give him, you can counter this in a second, but like when he has
that phase.
Yeah, when he has the ability to go in and assassinate really only one person cleanly, he tunneled on him over and over again in these team fights and eventually tunneled on Tristana, which was honestly obviously a mistake going in. And I think that's the mistake that cost him the game.
I just feel even regardless, if they wouldn't have the Abyssal, he would still opt to go for Tristana. Because Fizz just makes AD carries disappear, and his team could deal with Ahri a little better compared to how he could deal with Tristana, I imagine.
All right. Double if final thoughts there. Look like you had something to say.
I hate the double Abyssal Scepter because I like to min-max, and I think if Ahri wanted MR to respect Nukeduck, he should have went Athenes. The 20% CDR actually makes up for the lack of M-Pen that you get.
It's obviously not just to respect Nukeduck. It's because it works for everything in their game. Like, there is more magic damage in that Lemondogs composition than we see out of almost any team composition in this entire World Championships, because Corki, when you look at your damage dealt after the game, he's pretty much half, maybe more magic damage, especially when a Kennon's in team fights kind of zoning him back. Elise's all magic damage as well. Like, everything is about that Negatron cloak he gets to build into an item. That's the only reason I like it.
All right, guys.
Still a good game, though.
Oh my,
very good.
I always thought Lemondogs
This was a world-class game, in my opinion.
Very close.
Well, they're doing it in the right place on the right stage. And with that, let's check out the Group A standings, hot off the rift. OMG on top at 3-0. SKT T1 at 1-1 with TSM right behind them at 1-1 as well. Lemondogs 1-2 with Gaming Gear looking to pick up their win at 0-2 right now. All right, and if guys, it's that time of the show where you guess who is going to win the next game, and the viewers as well. But they've been guessing better. And last time, Crepo, Jat, Crepo, you said you were trying to catch up here. You're supposed to guess the winning team.
I would have imagined by the winning team, or the team that was in my head going to win, to build the proper boots, but nah, that's hard. That's too hard. They played so well. I can't even diss them.
Their team fighting was extremely solid that game.
Yeah,
that it was.
That game was just so good. We're already talking about it.
For the people that didn't know that, like, we were all standing here like shouting at this little amount.
All right, so our next match features Korea's SKT1 looking to bounce back from their loss against OMG as they take on the wild card Gaming Gear. So, Crepo, we're going to start this one off with you.
Well, whatever team I choose ends up losing. So to spite Monte Cristo, I'm going to go with SKTT1.
Oh, trying to put the bad juju on SKT.
Yep, SKTT1 all the way for me. Not much to say here. The Korean team versus the wildcard team. I got to go with them.
Okay, Monty?
SK Telecom, T1, of course. I'm a little bit nervous about Crepo's sabotage, though.
Change your vote, change your vote, dude, change your vote.
It actually makes me wish that the KT Bullets were here, because we know they're immune to curse, so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we need to go too in-depth on this SK Telecom for the reasons why they're the far favorites in this game. Gaming Gear, as well, has struggled heavily in the first day. I still feel like SK Telecom is the strongest Korean team in the World Championship, so I think it's a fairly clear choice to think SK Telecom is going to come out on top.
All right, we'll see what it is. Crepo changing his pick up this one. Doesn't want to lose anymore. It's not really the category that he wants to be in. So with this game coming in, how do you guys feel that's going to fare for them? What do you think is really going to be on the plate with the picks that we've seen coming out from SKT?
I feel like SKT, they might... I don't think they're going to pull out anything new for this game, just because they don't have to do anything new. They can just do what they've always done, standard picks, standard whatever, and just beat Gaming Gear fair and square.
I'm actually interested to see if Gaming Gear is just going all out and just tunnel on this like early 3v1 dive, because I think that's their only shot, disrupting SKTT1 early.
It's kind of unfortunate, though, because when I watched them at the International Wildcard Tournament, they were the team that was very passive in lanes and then was able to win team fights. That is a hard strategy to pull off right now, and I don't think they can just switch into a 3v1 hyper-aggressive style. That's not the way they play.
SK Telecom's a playmaking team, and if you're going to beat them, you have to outplay them in the laning phase. So
if you're playing up against a team with incredible solo laners, how do you defend that? Are you forced to press yourself into the 2v1? How does that work for a bottom lane when you know solo lanes are going to be a factor for your team to stop?
I would definitely say Gaming Gear's best shot is to do something unorthodox, whether it's like different lanes, different picks, things that SKTT1 wouldn't understand just playing in Korea, practicing in Korea.
Okay.
Maybe like some sort of not cheesy bot lane, but like Strange, double bruiser bot lane, or just something
Jarvan
nobody's
Leona.
ever seen before.
So
yeah, Jarvan Leona.
even though the game didn't matter in the International Wildcard Tournament because it was the end of their group stage and they're already moving in, they did win a game with a Tryndamere top lane and a Quinn AD carry, and they just tried to split push the whole map.
Yeah.
Sure, I mean, we are all very in agreement that SK Telecom is the favorites here, but we're just talking what could they do?
I don't think they have to make the level 1 play. They have to really win level 1. If they're not ahead in the first 7 minutes, I don't see them coming back.
Yeah, you know the mentality when you have nothing to lose and everyone expects you or expects the other team to win is, you know, when you have nothing to lose, you just do everything. You just do the craziest stuff, and that's what I want to see actually when you're the underdog or when any team is the underdog in a match.
Like sending Nunu mid and counter jungle CLGU.
Exactly.
Maybe with
dude.
promote.
Promote. That's not even in the game anymore, dude. Gaming Gear's bringing it back. Banner of Command.
I'm waiting for the Banner of Command.
It's broken, dude. I've been saying forever. Banner of Command is OP. Whoever's watching this broadcast, if you're in Worlds, buy Banner of Command.
They're kind of like promote and Janna type of thing in a different lane.
Doesn't matter, dude. Just buy it on your mid. It doesn't matter who gets it.
All right. Well, we've got to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll see if Gaming Gear can make these guys regret their picks when they take on Faker and SKTT1. Plus, OMG's mid laner Cool will join us to talk about their perfect start to Worlds. Don't go anywhere. The League of Legends Season 3 Championship will be right back. Stick around.
As you can see, our awesome crowd, and they're giving out some swag right now. Well, it's always fun to throw something in the crowd. So happy.